Imagine being 11 years old, stuck on a tiny float in the middle of the ocean. No food, no water, sharks circling, sun scorching, your family gone. You don't know how. You don't know why. And the only man who might have answers tried to erase you, too. This is the story of Terry Jo Dupereau, a young girl who faced unspeakable trauma, unimaginable conditions, and still survived. In November 1961, the Dupereau family, Arthur, Jean, and their kids Brian, Terry Jo, and Renee set out on the trip of a lifetime. Arthur, an optometrist from Wisconsin, had always dreamed of taking his family sailing across the Bahamas. He chartered a two-masted sailboat called the Bluebell. Along with them was Julian Harvey, the boat's skipper, and his wife, Mary Dunny. The plan was simple: a week of sailing paradise. Blue waters, island stops, family bonding. But within days, the dream would morph into a horror story that would make headlines around the world. On the final night of the trip, they anchored near Green Cay, a small island east of the Bahamas. Terry Jo went to bed in a small cabin below deck. Her last memory before sleeping was the sound of her brother and sister laughing upstairs. Sometime in the middle of the night, she woke up to screaming, footsteps pounding above her, a thud. Then silence. She cautiously crept up the stairs to the deck and froze. The deck was soaked in red. Her brother was lying motionless. Her mother and sister gone. Julian Harvey stood near the helm, alone, calm. Terry Jo didn't understand what was happening. When she asked, he told her to go below deck. But then the boat began to sink. Terry Jo remembers Harvey handing her a line attached to a dinghy, then walking away. Water started pouring into the lower cabin. She clung to the stairs, crying for help. Julian came back, saw her, and instead of saving her, he let her drown. Or so he thought. She managed to escape and found a small cork float barely 3 feet wide. No supplies, no cover. And then the Bluebell slipped beneath the water, taking her entire family with it. She was alone, in open ocean. What followed was 4 days of pure survival hell. Terry Jo had no food, no fresh water, just relentless sun, salt water, and sharks that circled her float. The sun baked her skin. Her lips cracked. Her limbs swelled. Her eyes burned. At night, the temperatures dropped and the ocean rocked her violently. She hallucinated, prayed, waited to die. But on day 4, a Greek freighter called Captain Theo spotted something unusual in the water. A child, barely alive, clinging to life. They rushed to save her. A crew member dove in and pulled her from the float. She was dehydrated, malnourished, sunburned, barely breathing, but alive. While Terry Jo fought to survive, Julian Harvey was already back on land, spinning a story. He claimed the Bluebell was caught in a storm. The mast snapped, gas lines ruptured, fires broke out. Everyone was lost. Only he and his wife survived until she tragically died trying to escape. But Harvey's story had holes, and when news broke that a young girl had survived and was able to talk, Harvey panicked. Before police could question him, he checked into a motel in Miami, wrote a short note to a friend, then ended his own life. Terry Jo, now safe in a hospital, gave her account. She revealed that there was no storm, no broken mast, no fire. She had heard her family being hurt. She had seen her brother's lifeless body, and Harvey had left her to drown. Investigators now believe Julian Harvey murdered everyone on board, his wife included, to cover up financial motives. He had multiple insurance policies out on his wife. He was an ex-Air Force pilot with a deeply shady past, including multiple boat accidents involving previous wives and suspicious insurance claims. Terry Jo was the only witness to the truth and the only reason the full story was ever uncovered. Terry Jo's survival became a national sensation. She was renamed the Sea Orphan by the press. Her face was on every newspaper, but she was also a traumatized child grieving the loss of her entire family. She later changed her name to Terry Dupereau Fassbender and lived a quiet life away from the spotlight for years. Decades later, she told her story in a book titled Alone, Orphaned on the Ocean. She wrote not to relive the pain, but to honor her family, and to show the world that even in the darkest moments, the will to survive is stronger than fear. Terry Jo's story isn't just about horror. It's about resilience, about the power of human spirit in the face of pure evil. She didn't just survive the ocean. She survived the unthinkable and lived to tell the truth that no one else could. If stories like this shake you, follow for more true survival and mystery stories. You've been watching Midnight Justice Diaries, where the truth doesn't sleep and the past don't stay quiet.